mentioned by man that across the globe, one is the 6 foot tall and 6 figures, and the other one is serious abuse by women verbally.
Wow.
Right, and I speak most of men that I'm gonna cry. It always makes me so sad.
Take your time. Take your time. It's all right. No, we are
It
here.
is.
This
It
is
is.
emotional
It
stuff.
is. It's, to see a broken man like that, they're going through, because you see, a lot of men they don't talk about the abuse from women. It's easy for them to say, yeah, you know, women are crooked, like they want to steal my money and all the rest. You understand?
Part of culture, but we ain't part of culture. Still making it rain, but a little words fly in slogan. Them man there, some them man there. We say we don't know them. Always chatting about Lengo, roll with the stick, man, have to outgrow them. You see this life, only get one, don't get twice. Can't value it, treat it right. Find purpose, meaning, fight. That's destiny calling. Ring, 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 ring. We accept the warning.
Hello, people. Welcome back.
Back again.
From faith to finding love.
It's been a little minute, Mickey. It's been a little minute since we jumped on here. I'm excited to be back. Man.
I'm excited to be back
Yes,
with you,
indeed.
my G. My name is Mickey, your boy, and this is my co-host.
Christian Adam in the house, the flyest and most handsome in the building today.
Jeez.
I come to you, sir.
I see the satin shirt, brother.
It's
Stop tensing your muscles. Stop tensing your muscles.
It's something old summer, baby. Mickey, what's the show we're on tonight?
All right, so the episode today is, it's season 1, episode 5.
So far.
And it's mental health issues amongst our men.
Hallelujah.
It's a deep one. It's a very deep one. And we've got a specialist with us today. Mr. Edo.
We have, like you said, Mickey, we got a special guest in the building today. I'm excited to have her here today. She goes by the name of Karolina. She is the co-founder, not the co-founder, she is the founder, excuse me, of HG Healwell. She's a health coach specialist and an advocate for men's mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Karolina in the building today.
Welcome, Karolina. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So please, Karolina, tell us about yourself and give us a synopsis of your journey.
Wow. We'll be sitting here for quite long if I tell you the journey.
I can imagine.
Wow.
We got time. How you doing for time, Molly? Time on the clock, man.
So I've been advocating for my mental health for the last 6 years. I've coached men around the world and helped them with their mental health and where they are on the journey, so on. As well, I'm a founder, like Christian says. I'm a founder of HG Healwell. I'm a health coach specialist, and I'm helping people not only mentally to get on the track, but as well, you know, with the health as well, because it's affecting the mental health. Everything goes one to one. That's right. Yeah. So I'm trying to bring the right style life into people's lives.
Come on,
you know?
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. And Caroline, can we call you Carol? Is that okay? Just so it's
Go
gonna be
ahead.
easier.
Go.
So Carol, what does the HG in HG Healwell stand for? Just so the people know.
Okay. So HG is extension of my ministry, which is Holy Ground.
Okay.
And obviously Healwell is the extension to the ministry, because I believe we shouldn't be just looking after our spirits, but as well our health and mental. Everything goes under one thing.
Makes sense.
There's no, you know, there has to be balance everywhere, right? In our lives. So we need to bring, you know, all nutrition, you know, the right spirit and all that just together.
Wonderful. So let's get straight into it. Race and mental health. That's a big one, isn't it?
That's a hot topic.
That is a hot topic.
That's a hot button right there.
So talk to us a little bit about the impact of mental health in your race, or your race in mental health.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that a lot of things came out now, and I think people are more willing to talk about it, right? I think it was such a big taboo just a few even years back, right?
Yeah,
Now
most
people
definitely.
are more willing to open and say how, you know, things were affecting them, you know, mentally. And I think for a lot of people, they struggle with like in silence, you know, they were not able to project when even though they may be projecting a community, but I feel like they were not heard, you know, there was not enough like maybe support around. So it's in the terms, you know, when you keep on being rejected, regardless of, you know, we talk about job, you know, you can be rejected in job places, or you could be rejected, your race, you know, as you are, you could be rejected in relationships because you're where you come from, you know, we have this image that, you know, if you're not British, then, you know, if you don't speak proper, you know, you're a foreigner, and, you know, you immediately, you're in this kind of box there, you know, up to the standard of what people expect. And obviously, yes, that can really affect your confidence, right? It can, especially for men, who it definitely can take the confidence a little bit down, you know. And I've dealt with people with men previously where they, you know, English wasn't the first language and they have a little bit accent and so on. And I know how ladies, they used to say, oh, this freshman come from, you know, so. And already was like, you know, like script from the list, you know. So I, you know, and when I was talking to those men, they really felt like they're not up to the standards of a lot of women, and they were not up to the standards in the workplaces because of the language or maybe the barriers as well sometimes. And the color as well, right? It's just always, you know, to dark you, to white you, to this, you know, there's a lot of stigmas around. A lot of people feel not comfortable with the way you speak or the way you look. And therefore, obviously, they can really bring people in places that, you know, might bring the, you know, self-esteem down. And that leads to depression and sometimes suicidal even, you know?
It's powerful, Carol. I mean, I want to expand a bit on what you were just talking about now. So you talked about the fact that men don't feel like they're up to standard. And I know, Mickey, you and I, we can go as men,
we can
the pressure of performance, the pressure of being up to standard.
Most definitely.
In your experience with the men that you've spoken to, how have they articulated how it affects their confidence as men, and then downstream, how their mental health could potentially deteriorate by not feeling unworthy or enough? What's been that experience?
I think they're withdrawing from the society as a first sign, right? They're withdrawing from willing to even go out and engage with other people, and they just, you know, and separation is the worst thing for what can happen to people, because if you do not have confidence to engage with other, or engage even in workplaces, and people keep on pushing you down and laugh at you because you're from this place or that place, you start withdrawing from community, and that's what create a separation, create depression, right? It creates so many mental health, and sometimes schizophrenia comes in, and, you know, other type of, you know, mental health stuff creeping in. And, you know, I'm trying to always tell people to, you know, not living up to the standards of society, but live under the standard of God itself, you know, because when you live under the society standards, they always will suppress you, you know, with their standards, but that's not what necessarily is God's standards, and you should never look into what people demand, but into what God demands from you, because He created you perfectly and wonderfully. There's nothing that's missing. If He created you to be in a specific country and then you move to another country, that's for a specific reason. Do you understand? So it's very important to know your own values and not be suppressed by other opinions, you know, from other parties, right? So I always try to tell men to just sometimes block the noise, you know, block the noise, block the expectations, and do what you've been called to do in life, you know, because there'll be always some opposition coming, regardless your race or regarding something else. There's always gonna something common try to take the confidence out. So we just need to be focused on who we are and be confident of who we are. But we'll get to that more deeper obviously in the next questions.
I mean, staying with that point, how do you encourage men to kind of get that tunnel vision, separate themselves from what society tells them to be, and to kind of focus on what God tells them to be and who they are meant to be, and finding that realization within themselves?
I think there's a lot of so the men that I used to previously work with, they've been taught, let's touch a little bit on different topics, but I'll go lightly on it.
Touch on
so this touching to like I'm the man, I've been created to be strong, and I'm going into environment strong. But sometimes the environment will make you, the environment is created to break you. Do you understand, right?
Yeah.
So the most important is, like you ask me, is a lot of men struggle, first of all, with the idea of surrendering properly to God, right? Because they're strong, right? Because they've been taught from the culture to be strong. And if you're strong and doing everything by yourself, it's very easy to get broken by the society, right? But when you take a little bit your pride off and you know, I'm a man and I have the muscles, and go and surrender and build the relationship with God and allow Him to minister to you, this is how you block the noise. You know, because you're automatically hearing only God's voice, and you're ignoring the other voices that comes and try to discourage you.
It's powerful. Mickey, you might have to move to the next question because it actually ties a lot to what Carol was just talking about here.
Okay.
For question 2, because the question actually says, what are some of the cultural and societal factors within the UK, right, that contribute to higher rates of mental health among men, and how we can address it? So, I mean, you've traveled across the world, right? You've lived in multiple different places.
That's right.
I'm interested in how you've seen it as someone who's internationally traveled. I think about, I'm from Ghana, right? And it's interesting because how the type of pressure we have as Ghanaian men, you have to be the provider. You have to be the strong one for the family. That's a lot of pressure from a West African culture perspective. Maybe you can probably agree from a West African culture perspective. But at the same time, our mental health rates are not as high because we do get family support out there. So if in your experience, when you compare the UK to the other countries that you've been to, how would you say the UK factors into mental health in some of the ways we can address it specifically for men?
Right. I think, first of all, let's just address one thing. A lot of men, you touched on something, you said that you guys have support from family, which is great, which is beautiful. However, I realize even the support is there. A lot of men, it's almost like a hidden cancer. They live under delusion. They live under denial because the culture says so. The culture says so that you have to be strong and you do not allowed to cry or to show weakness or to show your emotions, and therefore you don't even know how unconsciously you do not allow your emotions to come out and even what is inside of you till it's too late. That's why a lot of men suicide there's a proven fact, a lot of men suicide age 40 and 50 because I've been speaking about this over and over. When you're 20, I'm gonna go and do it and rock the world and I'm just hell of strength. Okay, cool, you're 20, but then when you're 30, you're realizing you carry more the burdens, the traumas, the pain, the disappointments, and it's building up all that things in you, right? So therefore, when you don't deal with that in your 20s, in your 30s, this is things is not gonna go away. All the disappointment, all the trauma is gonna only be piling up inside of you without times you knowing about it. And that's why when a lot of people end up being 40 or 50 and realize I can't push anymore. It's too much. And they start breaking down to the point that they go in suicide because they didn't deal with what they meant to deal. That's why I said it's like a hidden cancer that is not being dealt and healed when it's meant to be healed, right? And I'm telling you something because I've dealt with men all around the world. I counsel men all around the world, America, and Nigeria, Canada, from different cultures, and I'm telling you right now, there is no man who came to me, Carol, I have a problem. None of them. None of them have a problem. None of them have a problem till I sat down and they felt, because I always create a safety net, right? I create the environment that, they sit and they confuse and be like, I want to unpack. I feel like I want to unpack. And they even shocked at how much they carry inside of them because they live in that denial. Do you understand? So, when they start unpacking, they start healing at the same time, and the healing has to happen because, listen, if the healing doesn't happen, you cannot evolve. You cannot evolve to the next level. You can't grow really. Something's gonna always suppress your growth. we need to unpack. We can't carry, like you go and travel, right? You can't carry like 100 kilo with you, right, to fly to another country. You need to unpack before you go to the next one, right? The same thing is with your pain, with your traumas. You need to keep unpacking, and the best ways to keep unpacking is first of all surrendering all to God. And like I said before, a lot of men, because of the pride and because how they were created in a childhood, I'm the man, I'm the provider, they have a knowledge about Bible, they can flip the scripture back and forward, but yet they never heard from God. They never have a relationship with God.
You're touching on some things,
but
right?
wait, this is nothing. This is big, because you see, a lot of Bible said the man is the head of the family. But if the head is broken, how he can lead?
God.
He can lead. And the healing happens when you fully surrender to God, and the healing happens in His presence, right? And the deliverance happens. There's a lot of things that we sometimes don't know what we carry inside, so God comes and pulling out things under the rock, right? So, for man to be the leader, he really needs to first surrender and get a healing, and then get as well help that is out there, to help them to navigate with that, where he's going, what he's going through, right? And then he can be fully the leader, because there's a lot of conception over man, especially from ladies, you guys have that, not only from culture, but the question was from society as well. A lot of men feels like, I have to earn 6 figures and I have to be 6 foot tall to be loved, right? And a lot of men, instead of chasing God and develop emotionally inside, they only build that outside world because that's what they believe they're gonna be loved for, right? They're being loved for the money, they be loved. But let's just be real, if we're not created to love Adam because he was 6 figures, because he was earning 6 figures, right? Eve wasn't created because he was 6 foot tall, right? Eve was there to be his support. Do you understand? So there's already issue that man does not allow women to be the support as well, because they've been taught for the culture to be constantly strong, to do everything by themselves. But God created a woman to be your support.
Jeez.
It's powerful. Let's deep dive into this a bit more. I've got one question, but I know
please do, because I was gonna go in myself. But
there's some powerful stuff here, Carol. So I want to bring you back to the idea of societal pressure and standards. So just thinking about your experience across the UK, US, and West Africa, the men you speak to, do you see the societal standards to be the same across all these different geographical locations? Or do you find that UK might be a bit different in terms of standards? 6 foot tall, 6 figures, all that sort of stuff. Is it the same across these geographical areas, or do you find differences with the men you speak to?
Yeah, there's 2 main topics that is always being mentioned by men that across the globe. One is the 6 foot tall and 6 figures, and the other one is serious abuse by women verbally. Right, and I speak most of men that I'm gonna cry. It always makes me so sad.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's all right. No, we
It is.
This is emotional stuff.
To see a broken man like that gone through, because you see, a lot of men they don't talk about the abuse from women. It's easy for them to say, women are crooked, like they want to steal my money and all the rest, you understand? But a lot of men, they don't open up and talk about the abuse they receive from women. I would talk about marriage, mainly, right? So because obviously when you're married, it's a different level, you just can't get out just like that. You know what I mean? Unless you're stuck in and that abuse. And again, because of you are a man, a lot of men feel like they can handle it, right? Because you're gonna not moan to anybody. You're not gonna say, "Oh, my wife it's just even almost embarrassing to say, well, your wife treats you like." What are you gonna say?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? What are you gonna say? To whom are you gonna say, right?
People will laugh. You think?
People will laugh at you because they will use words that I can't use it here, right? I mean, so it pains me that they go into secret trauma inside, and it's breaking them with the confidence, and this is why a lot of men are dying inside, through that abuse through the women, that the way they demand from them in the marriage, or even manipulate them in the marriage. It's like, oh, I'm not giving you this, I'm not giving you that if you don't, you know what I mean, if you're not doing this and all that. Or they just use words that are not appropriate, you know, and bashing the men, bashing what really God has created, right? So it, you know, it's been a journey for me itself to see broken men like that, because it shouldn't be like that, and it should be definitely spoken outside. Because we women, if somebody comes and abuse me, if a man abuse me, we loud.
Yeah.
We talk everywhere. We
You
will,
t-
we
every-
you know,
everybody
I'll call
has to know.
999 and be like, bro,
Everybody
like
has
out
to
of my
know.
house
Yeah.
straight away. But you guys are not like that. You know, and this taboo needs to be broken, and we need to start talking about this more and more, because nobody should be abused by anybody. I don't care you're a man or woman, that should be the same way, you know.
I just wanted to touch, well, I want you to kind of lead on this.
Yeah.
So is it society's fault,
Yes,
or is it the gender's fault?
So
Because
what's
society-
your take?
It's a society fault. I think it's a society fault. Yeah, I think it's a society fault, because the society will not. It's almost like a society create that kind of. It's a mix, I would say, but it's more society image on how they project it, you know, on what is right or what is not right.
Yeah.
Do you understand? They will tell you men need to be strong, men need to earn this, men need to do this, and yet men should not complain about anything, or should not show their emotions, you know. So I think it's more society.
More society.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And those things need to be definitely talked about. And the same thing from, you know, man doesn't talk about rape. You know, man doesn't talk about rape. How do you gonna explain the man come on you? Like how do you gonna say? To whom you gonna open up like that? Do you understand? For a lot of men, it's very difficult to explain this to professionals, or I'm not talking about to maybe your friends, but go to even to professional and just be bold and explain. Yeah, I have been, you know, previously so, because I've dealt with them before. Yeah. And it's affecting the relationships, affecting the mental health so badly. They live in the shadow of feeling of so many. They have thoughts, and it's just crazy. Yeah. You know, and those things need to be healed as well.
Yeah, I think it's powerful.
Yeah.
Although I do wonder, Marv, we might need to, obviously, that last bit was the sensitive piece, or from an upload perspective, which is
cool. So, just to hold it in a little bit, quick question. What are some of the stigmas around mental health that are preventing black men from accessing support?
So there's a lot of like free counseling out there. There is a whistleblowing. You can call anonymous. You can call, and you know, you can have mentors and people that can help you to navigate to professionals. You can go to GP as well. You can speak to your GP about like you struggle with mental health or suicidal thoughts. And there's as well, if you're a believer, there's church. There's always a support in church. You can go, not every church, but they are in church. They are a Christian organization. Like I said, there's a Christian organization that do even whistleblowing as well. And you can call them. There's I don't remember which one, but there was a one, I can post it later. There's a one that is a Christian, and you can call, and somebody can talk to you through it with whatever you're doing, you know, on daily basis, and they pray as well with you as well. Yeah. And you can always contact me as well, because obviously I have.
get the plug.
Please
Yeah,
do get the plug in.
Yes,
Get the
I'm
plug
available
in.
24/7.
We're gonna leave contact details, email addresses, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. But coming back to it's a really powerful question, Carol. What's your view on, typically as Christian men, when we look at support services, people tend to run to their pastor or tend to run to someone in authority in the church. What's your view on the efficiency and impact the churches can provide on mental health versus actually going to someone that's a specialist in this particular area, right? Because some Christians are very much against, you can't go, especially West African culture, you can't go see a specialist, just go open your Bible, go to the pastor. So in your experience talking to men, where do you, I know it's a loaded question because you're a specialist in that area, but
Ooh, that's a sensitive topic.
that's what we're here to do.
You know what? I've dealt with a lot of men who have been abused by church, and
Church.
you know, Bible is excellent to go and seek your guardians and get your spirit maybe uplifted. It's good, but those things need to be tackled properly by professional. Right?
Yeah.
So always seek the professional. If the pastor, for example, is professional, have a knowledge about mental health, then yes, go on and seek. If you need the prayers, obviously you can seek the prayers. You know, but in general, as someone that needs to, who is dealing with serious depression, always go to professionals. Always go to professionals. There's nothing wrong to go professional, and I believe there's plenty like myself, Christians who are professional in mental health, and you can seek through the knowledge of Bible, through the leading by the Spirit. You can get the right advice, the right prayer, and everything that you need. But it has to be the professional, someone who's definitely been led to do so, and someone who has some knowledge about it as well.
Two things. First of all, there's not many of you that are about. So, you know, sometimes that can be a little bit hard. And the other thing is, you know, when it comes to mental health and issues like that, we get it from the pastor free. We are able to speak to them free, whereas, you know, paying for a consultation is a fee kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to seeking advice from pastoral leaders, is it best to keep it spiritual and try not to get clinical advice from them? Or, again, because you did say earlier, it's not until, you know, they are qualified in such matters that they are able to give thorough advice. So when it comes to approaching my pastor or approaching a leader or, you know, someone seen in the church, should I just keep it on the spiritual plane? Like, should I just say, all right, so this is what I'm dealing with, I just need you to pray with me, or what can you tell me about this? And then keep the actual consultation or the proper advice with those that are able to give me that.
I believe so. I think it all depends on the knowledge of the pastor as well.
Exactly.
Because I know there's a lot of pastors that will give you advice based on Bible and will leave you still feeling like you're still depressed.
Yeah.
Right? And will sometimes even feel like they condemn you from even being low, right? There's a lot of expectation from men, especially in church, to be strong and so on, and be the leaders and be the head. So I don't know if every pastor or every church can understand that we all going through healing and healing is okay. You know, do they have the knowledge? I don't know. I can't really speak up. For me, the safest place is always go to professionals. You know, yes, seek your pastor prayers and navigations and so on. And if you believe that the pastor have the knowledge, yes, go ahead. But if you feel like you better off go to specialists, if you have to pay, then you pay. You're gonna be always better off to pay somebody, but at least you're gonna feel better after some time, right?
That's true.
By the way, I don't charge because of the gift of God that He has given me.
Jeez.
So I don't charge. I do it as God leads.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Appreciate you in advance for that.
No worries.
Jeez.
You still gotta pay something.
Put something in the offering basket.
You see the way the people that like the freebies, they start jumping up like, okay. I see one in my raising his hand.
I don't believe in charging people for something that God gives me freely. And it's a ministry itself. And I believe we need more healthy men. There's not enough whole and healthy men. And if we do not help as a women the support, if we do not help the men, even through prayers or through advice or whatever it is, then who's gonna get married? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because you can't just get married because you have 6 figures. That doesn't mean you're ready for marriage. You're ready for marriage when you're whole and when your mind is right.
Jeez.
Because how can you live when your mind is not right?
It's not right.
It's gonna be chaotic house.
Gems. Powerful. Powerful. We don't go for time. Looking at my producer there, we don't go for time. We powered through this, Mickey. Let's jump to the next one. So this is one that we had a conversation about, Carol, a little bit offline, and it's this idea of nature versus nurture, right? So just to state the question, all it says is mental health hereditary, or can it be caused by living in deprived neighborhoods? I was watching a documentary the other day about kids who do school shootings, right? Big in America. And one of the things that they found was that they had people in their family, might be their father or their grandfather, that also had mental health issues. So what they were saying was that actually maybe this could be something that's genetic and hereditary. Therefore, can we actually hold them accountable for their actions? But on the other side, to what degree does the environment the person grows up in, the things they go through, their neighborhood impact them? So the men that you talk to in your ministry, in your consultation, where do you find the balance between actually might be natural and hereditary, but it's actually the societal aspect or the environmental aspect? Or do you even see that as a distinction?
I saw this more with young adults when I was doing challenging behavior in schools. I've dealt with a lot of youth. I haven't seen this really in adults, if I have to be honest, as much. I think with the Christianity, because obviously when you get your new identity in Christ, you're no longer repeating what your parents been doing, do you understand? So I don't really believe in passing on, which you can, but obviously there's a way of cutting off and doing things right, but I'll come back to that one. So let me just dwell more on that passing on first. So yes, you know, we as kids mainly, right, you learn from your parents, right, you can pass on through your parents specific behaviors and so on. I know there are some mental health that can be passed on into genetically, right, like schizophrenia and so on. It can be passed on into like, you know, through you know, to the next generation. But again, as a Christian, I see this a little bit differently, right? But yes, it's a mix of things, you know, but we always have a choice in life. That's what we have to remember. Regardless if it's passed on from your family or from your environment, it can always be reversed. It can always be healed, and it always can develop to a better behaviors, right? I have a kid that his father was drug dealer. He was 8 years old only, and he was already selling drugs in the park at 10 p.m.
Jeez.
And parents didn't know, apparently. Yeah, right. And I was doing one-to-one with him, and I've tried everything, trust me. I've tried literally engaging him through basketball, playing football, and teaching him math through that practice, you know, just to engage with him in his level. You know, I try to find him where he is, pretty much, you know, because this is the best way. You find people where they are. You don't try to come over, but you just go to their level, so you can go through the journey with them, right? So it didn't help. He has this in his mind that he wants to be like his father, and that was it. You know, and he saw that life, and was both, because was through the family, through the environment he lived. Was in Peckham. I want to say Peckham is a bad place, but do you know what I mean? The environment and his family both contracted that, you know, his behavior. He stopped to teachers that time. Wow. As an 8 years old boy, and he almost stabbed a kid as well. So it's, you know, it's sometimes if you do not want to seek yourself a help, you're gonna be in that, you know, in mental health environment. If as an adult you just need to seek the help, if you don't, you can call it you pass on from. I think a lot of people like to be victims, you know, and it's easy to say I pass on this. My mom had it, my father had it, so I had it too. Okay, it's cool. No, it's not. There is help out there, and there is solution to it. There are specialists that can help you to come out of schizophrenia or whatever it is, and bring you to the right path where God wants you to be.
Yeah, it is. I think you're right. We do live in a culture of victimhood, right?
Yeah,
and taking accountability, especially for adults. But you talked about the young child. A friend of mine, her son is 8 years old. He suffers from dyslexia. He suffers from attention deficit issues. He has a whole bunch of issues that potentially could drive him down a route where he might suffer mental health. Again, I think with these particular scenarios, it's difficult to say, well, you should just do something about it because you can help yourself. I mean, how do we view that from a Christian lens?
I've dealt with so many kids. I was specialist for 3 years with kids, and part of this thing. It depends on the parents how much they want to support them in the journey, and depends of who they have in school as well as the support.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to go to mental health with his disabilities or with his health issues, right? It doesn't say your dyslexia and stuff like that. If you've been taught what dyslexia is, in fact, dyslexia is very good because people are very talented apparently with dyslexia, right? So it depends how you present these things to your child and how the community, what you have around this child, how you set these things around your child to make him not feel like he's different, but make him feel like he's special. So you just need to reverse it. There's a way of doing it, and not. I think a lot of people, you have this, you have that. Oh, okay, no worries. Okay, you pulled this little thing. No, we shouldn't be doing that. Why? We've been created specially in all ways, and I believe that we shouldn't be discriminating anyone because somebody has dyslexia. But as a parent, you're responsible for the school mainly. School is failing big time. School is failing. I worked in schools for quite a few years, so school is having massive impact as well on the mental health. Because I've been victim previously as being bullied as a kid, but as a Christian, you grow up almost all those things because you get your healings and you move on.
Okay.
So go on. Any question?
Yeah. How easy is it for men to access the right mental health support within their neighborhoods, their location, and things like that? So just to touch on, first port of call to access mental health when you're in need.
Yeah, I think if you go even to Google, it's literally so much out there. GP is the first thing you should go to. GP is the number one, and they can refer you straight away to the right advisor or someone you can contact. There's plenty of information in GP. There's plenty of information out there. So either for GP or either if you do not want to be obviously recognized, I would say, then like I mentioned before, there is online, you can whistleblowing, right? And you don't have to introduce yourself, you don't have to say where you're from, you just say this is my problem, and that's what it is. You just make a one call, and there's someone on the other side waiting for you, and they will navigate you through that conversation. It's very easy, very easy. You just have to say, support for mental health or suicide or whatever you're going through. It's there, the number will pop up.
So it's easy to get, but you just have to be willing to ask.
That's right. Yeah. You have to make the first. I'm trusting this free. It's a lot of free support there. It's not all paid. You can go to the paid one-to-one and support, but you can start from first, make the move, make the first call, and be like, I need the support.
Okay.
It doesn't even have to be. You have to say. Obviously, for a lot of men, will be like, oh, I don't want to commit, like I have a depression or something. They don't have to mention this. You just can say, listen, I'm struggling with this and this and that. This is the area that, I feel like it's bringing my low mood and so on, right? So you just can start from a very small talk, I would say, and then you, if you feel like you can trust the person on the other side, you start keep on the conversation, the ball rolling, pretty much, and then you get that support where you need.
And very quickly, can you talk on the dangers of not asking for help? Yeah, let us know just tell us what happens if we don't ask for help. What are the risks?
Hey, wahala.
Spiritually, physically, all of that.
First of all, I would say bottling up your traumas, your disappointments, because a lot of men cannot deal with disappointments in life, but they're still pretending like they got everything together, and that will lead to depression. You start looking at yourself like you're not worthy of things. So obviously a lot of men lose the drive to even go and work right? Or pursue things that God has called them to pursue. The other things could be even, can I just say it? Like they don't, the sex drive goes down, everything. We talk about obviously marriages, right?
Yeah.
So if, there's a lot of men that are married, and, they feel like withdrawing from the family, basically. They start separating. And withdrawing with engaging with the kids, with the wife, they're withdrawing they're locking themselves up, they don't want to go to work, they feel dismotivated. And this obviously leads to sometimes schizophrenia, so it can lead to depression, and it can lead to other different mental health problems, and God forbid, suicidal thoughts, So not dealing with, with your emotions and with what you're going through in general day by day, not speaking to someone. If you're not married, then find somebody who's compatible, and you can open up. If you don't want to go to professional, at least start conversation with your brother, with your sister, or with someone that you can trust, and just have real conversation, and obviously bring it together most important.
Powerful.
Amen.
Powerful.
Amen.
Powerful. Brother Mickey.
Yes, sir.
It's been a hell of a. I call this the Carol University.
Hey,
I went through a whole 3 semesters on this. Powerful, bro.
Listen, it was a very touching episode.
Beautiful
I
episode,
appreciate
man.
that.
Beautiful
And,
episode.
yeah. We thank you for
coming. Before
just
you
being
go,
on.
we want you to plug a couple of things. We want you to plug the website. We want you to plug the Instagram page. We want you to plug everything. And then looking at my producer, you've got your equipment with you today, Carol, right? We're gonna take 5 minutes. Carol's gonna tell us about her product and her services. We're gonna do a little test before we go. So plug away.
Alright, so obviously I'm very passionate about the mental health because it's a big thing, but as well we need to educate people how to nutrition, and how to supplement and all the jazz. But as well I do full body scan. So what the things does to you, it shows the whole your lungs function, your organs function pretty much, and will show you your vitamins, minerals, heavy metals, and what else? And your skin,
your
and
skin,
your bones,
toenails,
and everything, toes
your
and
hair.
nails, your hair.
Come on.
It will actually so it's hard to navigate people and give them the right, a plan without me knowing what is really inside you, what issues happening, with your health. So for me to tailor proper plan for individuals, I need to know first
100%.
what it's, if you were lacking vitamins or if your liver
100%.
function properly or not. And then based on that, I literally schedule the right plan on like what to eat, what to not eat, and what to take and how to supplement and so on. So that's what I do. So you can go to my website www.hghealwell.com, or go to my Instagram, which is HG Healwell as well for more. There's plenty of germs there, like vitamins and minerals, what they stand for, how they're important for your body, and for your mental health, because mental health as well is not only from the traumas, it's not only from the whatever we going daily through the the race and all the jazz. It sometimes can be linked to your health. If your hormones are not right, if you have low hormones, then the low hormones linked to your low mood pretty much, right? If you don't have enough vitamin D, this can affect your mood as well, and so on. So it's not only mental health is quite big, if I would say, it's a lot of factors that can play the mental health, the health, the spiritual life, and so on. So yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful. You look at the website, got an Instagram page, and you know what we do. Any more to add, Mickey, before we
I'm full.
I'm full.
I am full.
Is that what the
I've been
3 course
fed today. I've been fed. That was
Started-
a roast, bro.
Starters, base, and desserts, man.
That was KK and watching. Turkey toe, yeah?
I'll forget that. We got a Gary.
The Gary.
Gary
The
on the
pounded young. That was all of it, bro.
Carol, thank you very much for coming.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
And it's a wrap. It's a
Thank
wrap.
you.
Part of culture, but we ain't part of culture. Still making it rain, but a little words like in soaking. Them man there, some them man there. We say we don't know them. Always chatting about Lengo, roll with the stick and have to outgrow them. You see this line.